Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mark Massett and Them From Next Door. I am Mark Massett.
And I am Alison Monroe.
And we are... Oh, John's in the background.
Hi.
Say hello, John.
Hello.
See how we didn't do it as campus last time?
Hey, girl.
And yeah, here we are. Here we are today. How are you, Alison, babes?
Feeling a bit.
You're hungover. On a scale
And
of 1 to... I'm a mess today. I drank way more than I needed to yesterday, knowing full well we were going to do this today. So I drank more in a shorter space of time.
And I actually tried to behave, so
Oh, yeah.
that shows.
No, you didn't. Like, I saw Alison at... Where did you go last night?
I went to a restaurant called the Grounded Brothers in Bromley.
In London.
Yes. Shout out to the Grounded Brothers. They were absolutely amazing. Nice food, nice drinks.
What did you have, Dom?
I had calamari.
Love a bit of
honestly,
calamari.
I've got calamari
Whenever
everywhere.
we go out to eat, and we got calamari, the first we say, we're getting the calamari.
Remember when we went to the Philippines? We made it a thing
Yeah, it was
that
like
every meal that we had, it had to have calamari
We
in
were
it.
the calamari girls.
The calamari diet. We lost so much weight. And then I had like a grass-fed steak. That was very nice.
Was the marbling really, really...
Oh, it's so juicy.
Was it juicy
So,
as?
so juicy. And then I had a chocolate banana type of dessert. And it was nice. And I had loads of pink gin fizzes to go down with that. So
Yes, I saw you pour.
yeah. Paul.
I saw you drinking.
Oh, yes.
I text everyone today to come an hour later because, well, one, I forgot. We were filming some Brenda scenes later and I forgot my shaving stuff, and the sister said I was going to cut her hair. For those who don't know, I'm a barber as well as a entertainer. Entertainer.
So what did you have to go? So did you have to go back to work?
So this morning I had to go to work.
I
yeah.
messaged you about 2 days ago, so you didn't
I
forget.
know, and well, what happened was last night. After work, I went out. I went out Friday as well, but I wasn't planning on going out on Friday.
Right.
And I already planned to go out for a drink with my mate Hayley. And
That's always a bad idea.
so my best friend Hayley, we are the worst when it comes to being together. We're a bad influence on each other. I would say that she's worse than me. She gets the ball rolling, but then she goes, right, I'm going home, and I don't want to stop.
So you're like, please. stay.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, just one more. One more will be fine. Ends up me checking everyone. Are you out? Are you out? You know what I mean? So I need to find that off switch, really. And so that was yesterday with Hayley, and we had a couple of bottles of white wine. I got to bed at about 12:30, 1. It's always good, but this morning I was like, oh God, give me some painkillers. I had to go and get my stuff. Then I was just like, yeah, everyone come an hour later, please.
Oh, I saw that text and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
But, let's talk about like friends and stuff. So Hayley, I've known Hayley for about 5 years. And she's from Devon. But you've always got that one friend who leads you astray, like the ride or die. And you're just like, when you're out together, you don't think of how messy it's going to be, but it's also going to be fun.
Yes.
Who's yours?
Oh, I have a couple. I would say when I was younger, even till today, but Shannon, because whenever I told my mum, oh, I'm going out with Shannon, she'd be preparing me to come home absolutely paralytic. So she used to work in a pub, so we would always just be drinking and drinking. Loads of men would be buying her drinks. We would always have...
Buying her or buying you?
Well, she would have like a tally chart throughout the week of people buying her drinks.
What?
So like if they were buying 2 drinks, they'd be like, oh, and get one for yourself.
Oh, she was working in the pub?
Yeah, so she would have all these drinks and then I would come at the end of the week and drink all the drinks with her.
For free?
Yeah, basically.
That's not a bad way to do it.
No, it was good. So we used to get absolutely...
Shit-faced.
Yes.
I like that, though. I think... But you know a lot of your mates from school.
Yeah.
I don't know any of them. I speak to them on social media occasionally because some of them are really funny still. But I don't really speak to anyone from school anymore.
Well, it's because you've moved from
even
Manchester.
when I was at home, when I was living
really?
when I was living in Manchester, I just moved on. There was one person who I was friends with from school, but that kind of fizzled out as well. So now it's just
Maybe you just went to a bit of a dry school.
no, but do you know what though? Like I'm like that. I've got friends from Manchester, and they all came to London. So I would think I was the last one out of us all, but they'd already been here. Like my best mate Alan, he came. I think it was 2 years before me, and there was loads of us from Manchester. Now they've all gone, apart from Hayley. Not this is another Hayley, but she's still here. But
Why did they all move away then?
well, they all get like they got partners, and we're getting older. Some of them got pregnant, and they wanted to. I mean, London's great, but if you're not from here, it's easier to go home and get family who are going to help you looking after kids if you get pregnant.
And even just like bringing up a child, I feel like London isn't probably the place that I would personally bring up.
It's just a very. It's hard here. It's hard here.
It's a very tough.
Yeah,
tough
it's like
place.
it is a very hard staying place. I mean, you have to have money to be here, and everyone knows that a child is expensive, and that's why I ain't never gonna have no kids.
No, but even London, I just feel like if you're not from London and you haven't gone to school in London or done something where there's been a lot of people, it is quite a lonely place. And I do understand why people move to London and then leave, because it is. If I didn't have a school here, I would find it quite like it's like isolated.
Yeah.
No one really speaks to you. If you said hello to someone on the street, they would be like,
you go up to random people and say hello?
no, but I'm just saying if someone did, but if you go to say out of the country, like in the countryside, people say good morning. But if you was to have done that in London, people would be like, what's wrong with that person?
Yeah, but it's a different mindset on both halves, isn't it? When you're away somewhere that you've not been before, and even in a country, the mindset is a lot slower. No one's guarded. If someone says hello to you in the street, you're thinking, "What the fuck do you want?"
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna start following me in a bit.
Yeah,
you got
me.
your guard up. He gonna kill me.
Run, girl, run. No, but it's true. Like it's. I feel like it's a lot more friendlier. My mum lives in Hastings.
Where's friendlier?
Just anywhere apart from London.
Really?
I feel like there's obviously you get the occasional people, but as I say, you won't walk down the road where you live right now and just walk up to the first person that you see and say hello.
I wouldn't do that in Manchester.
Would you not?
No, I'm from a council estate in Manchester.
Okay, maybe not in the council estate, but walking down the roads, there must be.
Well, the thing is
"Morning."
with when you're from Manchester, people say it's like, it's a big city. It's quite small. When you're from there, I can get off. If I'm coming from London to Manchester, I'll get off the train and I will see someone I know. Maybe we don't speak or whatever, but I'll know them. And sometimes you give the nod because I don't really like you. Didn't like you then. I'm not gonna like you now. Or sometimes you're, oh hello, are you alright? Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, in London, you could see someone and never see them ever again. You could go on a date with someone, meet them up in London, and you'd never...
Yeah. So that's why I found it... When I moved here, I hated it because I had all my friends here from Manchester, but these are all the friends that I'd made in my 20s. And you're right. It's a very hard thing to say that you get lonely because people think, oh, it's weak or whatever. But it's not weak. It's a fact that everyone, even my friends from Manchester, hardly saw them because they were so busy. Everyone's got there. Everyone had built up such a busy life in such a small space of time because it is a very fast-paced city.
Well, 2 years. Say that was the one that was most recent. In 2 years, you can do a lot in 2 years in London.
Yeah.
You probably move about 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Probably 2-3 jobs. So yeah, it is.
When I got here, my mate Alan, he'd worked in Topshop, Top Man. It's a massive one that used to be on Oxford Street, Oxford Road. Oxford Street?
Oxford Street, right outside the station. That was Topshop, big Topshop.
Oxford Street. And he invited me to go to one of the do's, and there's loads of them, and he'd made such a large crowd of friends, and I was like, oh shit. And it took me a little while because like I wasn't working for a big company. I was working for a restaurant. And when I first moved here, got a job in this restaurant, the staff were quite hostile to me, to be fair.
Which restaurant was this?
It's not there now. It used to be called Med Kitchen. And they weren't hostile, but they weren't very forthcoming on speaking to me. It was a bit weird. I was like, you go into work in one place in Manchester, and that is the difference. Everyone wants to know how you're doing or whatever. And then I came to London. I thought it would be the same. And I had a few issues with some of the members of the staff. And I think it was because it was good money and they could potentially be taking something from them if you're good.
Did you ever work in a restaurant up in North?
Yeah.
So Manchester and everything.
Yeah, I worked at Bella Italia, and I worked in a place called Crow Piccadilly. Crow Piccadilly. It was like Crow Bar, but that was like a street. I think Crow Bar's still there now, and there's a Crow Piccadilly. So it's kind of, I think it was like a number 3 or something, but they didn't want to call it number 3. And it was a bar at the bottom of like the Bank of New York. So all these like bank people went in there after, and it was really nice actually. Danish food. I only worked there for a year, and I just finished a job that I absolutely did not want to do. It was a manager at Shoe, and I went to something a lot easier. I was making only a little bit less money than what I was on, but I was having the best time. I got fired.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah.
Too much fun.
Too much fun. And I did, to be fair, I probably took the absolute piss in that job more than any other job. But because it was all about drink and drugs and stuff like that, and it was quite incestuous, a lot of people sleeping with each other, and I mean everyone, it felt free. And there was always a party. There was always something to do after work. I just took it too far sometimes. Like, I started to call in sick quite a lot, and we're still friends, but I was friends with like one of the managers, and I think she just had the enough of me. Mel. We still speak, we're all cool now, but she had to be fair, if I was her, I'd have fired me too, because I was out all night. I was phoning in sick, and she went, I know you're out with X, Y, and Z. So why aren't you coming into work today? He's like, well, because I'm not feeling well. I know you're fine.
You're just hungover.
And then she said, if you don't come in, I swear to God, you're getting fired. And I think so me being dickhead I am sometimes, like, fine.
I know,
thinking I'd be okay. No, I didn't think I'd be okay, but I knew, I think I knew I was at the end. I'd been there a year, and it was probably one of the best working years of my life, because it was just so much fun. I love a good party in Manchester. I love it. And it was one of them where I was having too much fun. I think I had so much responsibility before that I really let my locks down. But it was good. I don't regret any of it. I do regret letting a few people down. But you live and learn.
Yeah.
We still speak to them all. It was just that work's work at the end of the day. You can't keep taking a piss. Which I did.
Well, doesn't surprise me.
Well, but I don't do that anymore. That was a massive lesson, I think. It was, I got a job at Bella Italia after there, and then I was moving to London anyway. And then that's when I realised you can't do the same things in London as you did in Manchester. There is someone waiting to take your spots, who will do it.
Much busier.
Yeah, like whatever it is. And some people will do it for less money.
And you've got to promise things. Like, I worked in a pub, and the only reason why they gave me the job in the pub was because I promised to work Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I was like 19. And it was absolutely horrendous.
Why did you agree to work all them days?
Because I just really wanted a job. And it was like around Brentford area, and there wasn't many places to work. Okay. So I got like a job in either in a hotel, the Hilton Hotel, or a pub. And I was like, I'll just stick to the pub.
What were you doing in the Hilton?
No, I had 2 interviews and I
Oh,
got accepted
okay.
into both of them, and I picked the pub over the Hilton for some stupid reason. But anyway, but that pub was so weird. The manager, you had to call him president. He was American.
What?
Yep, you had to call him the president.
It's what?
Excuse
me, President.
Yeah, like hi president and everything.
Oh,
I know, it
no.
was really cringe, and like, everyone that worked there was young and like a woman, so it was like it was just a bit creepy. I saw him recently, like I didn't say anything. I saw
Hi,
him,
President.
yeah. And this is what he used to say to me. So I used to work in this pub. He used to make me do like 12-hour shifts where I had to constantly just walk around the pub. I wasn't allowed to stay still or anything. And then
That sounds like really narcissistic, controlling thing to do.
he was a weirdo, and he ended up didn't want me to work in his pub, but he didn't want to fire me, so he used to give me jobs to do outside of the pub, like flyering and stuff.
Why?
Because he said he loves me, but he doesn't love working with me, but he didn't want to stop paying me. So he used to just give me like really random, like if somebody brought a flyer in, it would be like buy a beer and you get a free burger or something.
Did you push it?
I
in that
think
job?
so. I just couldn't be. It was just not me. But I used to get all these flyers, and I used to just go to the local park and just throw them in the bin, and just go and sit with my friends and just drink in the pub.
Yeah.
In the park, I mean. So that was my. And then all of a sudden, we just stopped messaging each other. I didn't get a P45 or anything.
That's
we
dodge.
just stopped. That was it. And then I just didn't work in the pub anymore, and that's it.
That's so weird. That happened.
So weird.
I used to work in a place called Berlin, or we call it Berlin's, and it was a nightclub. And sometimes I just didn't show up. I just didn't show up. No one said a word, which I found really strange. And when I said I was leaving, they didn't ask when. They just said, okay, cool. So one day I turned up, and she was like, I thought you'd left. I said, I handed him a notice yesterday. I said, oh, okay. But there was a lot of cocaine going around there.
Right.
There was a lot of drugs.
They didn't even know what was going on.
But you know what, right? So this. I went out in the daytime with my friends and had a few drinks. By the time I was starting my shift at the club, I was fucking wasted. I was doing aftershocks. Do you remember them?
Oh, they were awful.
Awful.
Oh, they had a
Do you
red
remember
one and a
aftershocks,
blue
John?
one.
So I remember
Oh. They
aftershocks
used to
very
make-
well.
oh,
They
used to
hit
make
me like
sick.
a wrecking ball. It's like 1 minute I'll be fine. Next thing you know, I'm dead behind the eyes.
It's true. Especially that red one. It was like,
The
it was like
red
a
one,
cinnamon flavour and like a blue.
It was disgusting. And then, so I was there and I remember, I'm going to be sick. I am going to chunder. And I went to the toilet, and this was at the beginning of my shift, to be sick, and I was. And then I opened my eyes, and it was just quiet. I was like, where's the music? What's happened? And I've been, I goes to go out the door, and the managers are just about to close. Oh, hello. Where have you been? And I was like, I was just sick in the toilet. I fell asleep in the toilet for a good few hours, and no one had said a word.
How did you not wake up from someone trying to bang on the door?
I don't
or
know.
something?
I think there was like 2 cubicles or something like that. So yeah, it was so bizarre, and I just made them think, and I didn't have a mobile phone at that time as well. So they'd lock me in. I'd be fucked. I'm still there now.
Drinking all the drinks. How could a boss not just
That's
let
what
you
it was
go?
like, because
No,
everyone was
that's
just
weird.
so like
no care?
there was just it's too easy, and I was just a bit like, when I got home, I was like, obviously I just said, I wasn't feeling well, so I think I might have fell asleep for a little bit. I didn't say where. I've been asleep for a good few hours
In the toilet.
toilet.
Was it a disgusting toilet?
Yeah,
as well?
it was disgusting. It smelled. I was in the girls' toilets as well, because there was more. More cubicles, and I could just go in and say I was checking. I'm checking the toilets. I just went in and said, checking the toilets, shut the door, and that's probably how that I got missed.
Yeah, because they would have checked the men's.
I woke up on the toilet basin like that.
Oh.
Like with my head on it. I'm like, oh, you
Imagine the
tramp.
bacteria on your face.
I know. And it was, I felt well better the next day. I didn't even have a hangover because I slept it off in the toilet.
Oh, God. Lovely.
But yeah, so it was a lot easier to make friends in Manchester, back to what we were saying.
Do you think the more north you go, the more friendlier people are?
Yeah, I think the more, probably in the less diverse areas, I would say, if they're all locals and local villages and stuff like that. If you've got people from like just coming through like they do in London, and like Manchester's the same now as London, where it's very eclectic, which is really, really good. But if you've got smaller pockets, they're probably more likely to be friendlier.
Yeah, but you get smaller pockets in south. It's not just London. You've got little villages all around the south of England.
Well, would you say they were not friendly?
Well, I just don't think it's because the saying is the more north you go, the more friendlier they are. And I don't think...
Well, no.
I don't
Do
think
you know
it's
what, right?
true.
I personally think it depends on you. Wherever you go, how you you can say something, and how you, if they react bad, that's how you... that could be like the most devastating thing ever. But if you're just thinking, well, you do you. You know, when I came here, I made sure people were nice to me. I was like,
And how would you do that?
Well, because I spoke to them in a certain way, and I created a few boundaries. Like, if someone there was a girl that was really funny with me in a restaurant, and she was being, she would ignore me. I don't know what for. And at first, the first week I would say, okay, cool, maybe we're just not clicking. Then there was a sarcasm that came with it, and she was still ignoring me. And then I was not having a good day one day, and she came with a little bit of sarcasm. And I went, what did you just say? An instant change. I'm like, fuck you. You're not doing this to me anymore. You're not ignoring me anymore. I'm taking control of this situation. What did you just say to me then?
Sometimes you need to break people
You
in.
do. You're like, listen, I can sit there and I can be passive and I cannot be bothered. But if I'm having a bad day, don't push my buttons.
It's true. I'd like to kill people with kindness. So if there is
Literally,
someone...
they're dead. How'd they die? I was kind to them.
For example, in jobs I've had regular customers or something where they've been very abrupt and they don't have any personality with you, and I'll literally kill them with kindness to the point where I've sweetened them to death, and then they have to at least smile at me or do something. That's like, I've always had like not a victim, but someone that I've been like, right, I'm going to make this person.
Yeah. Well, that's you taking initiative, and, you made a choice. You know what I mean? You could let them control you by reacting the way they probably would expect you to react if you were acting if they were being horrible to you. I think when someone is trying to make you, like when someone's horrible to you and you horrible back, they've won.
But if you come with that attitude, don't expect people to be nice to you. If you're in a bad mood all the time, people haven't got time to be always nice to you.
No, but you can be
I'm not
decent.
Kill them with kindness. But if there's someone that's just blank expression all the time, then everyone has a bad day. So I'm not trying to say
but I think it's like everyone has a bad day, so you can leave. But you've got boundaries. You can have boundaries. You know what I mean? You can say, okay, cool, you've had a bad day, but don't speak to me like that.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's nice to be nice.
Yeah,
that's how I think.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to let you have it, wallow in it, but don't speak to me like that. That's my problem. The way people speak to me is a trigger for me. Mm-hmm. You can have a bad day and I'll be understanding. I'll ask you what's going on. Is there anything I can do to help? But if you start talking to me with a certain amount of disrespect, now you're crossing the line there, babes.
All the time.
Yeah.
I completely get it.
Yeah. So, but, I don't think in particular, I don't think the further north you go, the friendlier you are. I do believe that it depends on the type of person you are. You always attract what you're putting out, I feel.
Oh, I attract weirdos, I feel like.
I know, so
I get the most nuttiest people
I
ever.
was thinking about this the other day, right? So I was thinking, like, I'm quite open and whatnot. I always seem to attract the people that are not all there,
Yeah.
or, you know.
That's why we attract each
That's what. All right, Alison, I didn't want to say that. But yeah, we're very similar, though. We're very similar in temper. We're both very feisty people. I say you're more opinionated than me.
I don't know.
Well,
I beg to differ.
Well,
I
think
feel
we
like
both,
we're in the same level.
Yeah, because we always say, well, we'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's just us saying, you know what, we're not going to get anywhere with this. So you
Don't wanna
do
fight
you.
over it.
It's not worth fighting over.
No.
It's an opinion. It's not a fact most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's where people get it misconstrued, is like, people don't half love to put there, like, no, this is a fact because this is what I think. No, that's an opinion. Don't get the two mixed up, sweet cheeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think when we have our moments, I think they can quickly solve. Sometimes it's like, I like to keep my friends close because it's hard to fucking get back to know once you say the wrong thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, have you ever had that fight with one of your mates, and you might have said something that you really wish you'd never said, and the friendship's never been the same since, even though you've apologized to each other. It's just not the same.
Yeah, but that's always in the back of your head, that you know that person has that opinion of you, and you didn't think that person. Even in relationships, sometimes as well, you could have an argument, and something could be said out of the blue, and you're like, oh, is that really how you felt about me? Do you know what I mean?
But it's like this. Like, I was watching TikTok the other day, and this woman said, if you're arguing with someone and they say something to you in the heat of the moment, that's how they've been feeling. Like, do you know what I mean? Because anger is a really good guide to opening up and saying how you feel.
And drinking, I feel like. When you've had a drink and you splurt everything out.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? Right? When people say, people talk the truth when they're drunk, I don't believe that at all.
What is it? Drunken
Do you
minds
know, I don't
speak
believe
sober
that.
hearts.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think
it all depends. Sometimes you need that courage from drink to let it out.
No, I think sometimes, yeah. Sometimes something's been brewing. Like, sometimes you can say things drunk, and I've done it before when I thought, why did I say that? Why did that? You know, when you've been really, really drunk. I mean, you must have done it.
Oh, we've done it together.
Yeah. Yeah, we get into debates. When me and John have had, like, a proper, like, drink, we do debate quite a lot, don't we? I think the last time we had one, John, I was like, okay, let's just forget it. Let's have a drink. And John went, I don't want a drink. Luckily.
Listen, we're not allowed to talk about this anymore.
No, it was. Well, I'm not going to talk about the subject, but it was one of those moments where we both had very, very strong opinions, didn't we? And none of us wanted to back down. You felt a certain way, I felt a certain way, and we'd had a drink, so this was way higher in the clouds than it needed to be. And I said, okay, you know.
The alcohol doesn't help though.
No, and I think John doesn't really lose his temper. I've never seen you lose your temper.
Calm.
In all the time that I've known.
You must push his buttons so much to get him to put his but that's true though.
But
yeah, I can really imagine because John's a very nice, sweet.
Don't make me out to be like some sort of devil.
For him to get his back up, you must know. Because
no,
obviously you spend so much time together
what it
as well,
was.
You know how to wind him up.
John has a passion. When John's passionate about something, you have to be careful how you criticize it.
Well, why do you need to criticize it?
You know, I'm not going to go into it. No one's perfect, but there were certain things. And, you know, it wasn't it, John? Like, we're over it now.
Rolling my sleeves
no,
up.
it wasn't. It's not, hold my earrings, bitch. No, it was one of those moments where we were just drinking, and it was like tennis, aggressive tennis.
And there's someone in the middle just going.
That was his boyfriend. That was his partner, Camillo. And Camillo was just like, when we get into a debate, Camillo goes silent. He's like, and he's watching. But we do this all the time.
And on the way home, he was like, I'm never going out with you again.
You embarrass me.
But, you know, we made up. I think what John was like, I think I've already pushed a few buttons, and he was like, I said, "Oh, let's forget it. Let's have a drink." He went, "No, I don't want a drink." And then I was like, "Okay, we'll drink this and we'll go home." And I went to the toilet, and I think it was like, I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go home, and I actually don't want to end on this note." So I came upstairs, and I thought this was very noble. It's like, okay, let's just forget what just happened. I'm sorry about that. And you did say that. I was a bit like, oh, okay.
I mean, yeah.
And I said, well, I'm sorry too. Yeah, it didn't, yeah, but none of us apologise for our opinion, which is fine.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all right.
The alcohol probably
Yeah,
fueled that up
totally.
more.
And and I still think, we're never going to agree on certain things, but I think that's what makes a strong friendship, a strong bond between any person, knowing that you're a certain way, I'm a certain way. Sometimes we're going to disagree, and that's fine. But it depends on the subject. I mean, if you're a down-out racist, misogynist shitface,
yeah, then we're not
then we're not going to be friends.
No.
Do you know what I mean? But I think
But everyone has opinions.
But when you have an opinion and they're not that strong, let's just.
Or you've got the opinion from another person, you've got nothing to back it up with.
Yeah, I don't really fight for too long with friends because it's just stupid. I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it. If they say, sometimes I have to say like, this has gone on for too long, But then some people I just drop. Do you know what I mean?
Well, sometimes you can just grow out of a person.
Yeah, and some people like what was good then isn't good now. Say you always grow within any relationship, and then you have those people who are boundary pushers, I would call them, and they do stupid things like not turning up when they say they were going to turn up, or cancelling last minute and stuff like that. And I think it's really disrespectful. And I think whenever you have those friendships, you have those people, it's okay, they're always late. That's my time you're fucking wasting there. And as much as I have a bond or a friendship, you're still taking the piss out of me, making me wait around for you. Now, I'm, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, cool. When we're talking 45 minutes or sometimes an hour with some people, or you'll get a phone call sometimes, sorry, babe, I'm not going to come out tonight. I'm really tired. I'm dressed.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
You didn't feel going out.
You knew
the
this.
The minute you woke up that morning, you were like, oh, so why have you left it that late and that? Yeah.
Well, so, I have friendships who I just think, you know what, I can't be arsed with the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't want the conversation. Like, what would you rather do? This is a genuine question. What would you do? Would you tell them and want to discuss it and sort it out? Or if they were constantly like that, or would you just bow out?
I probably would stop inviting them places.
Yeah.
Well, when I used to work in Flatiron with you, I used to work Friday nights, Saturday nights, so I was always never available for my friends. And there was a time when I was 21.
But you had work.
I
That's
know,
different.
but they stopped after a while because I kept saying, no, I can't come out, no, I can't come out.
Yeah.
They would stop inviting me because every time they invited me, I would be saying no.
Yeah.
Because it'd be a last minute thing and I would have to work. So, and that used to get me down. And that it does, you need a bit of like a balance between social life and working.
Yeah, but you're not letting anybody down by saying that you're working.
No, it's true.
That's different.
I've always been told, my mum's always brought me up that if you make arrangements with someone, you've got to stick with them.
Yeah.
Even if you've had a better offer or anything, you need to stick with what you've originally agreed to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's a good way of...
This is why I always say... Now, if people say, oh, do you want to do this, this and this at a later date? I'll go, no.
Why?
I go, why? It's like, because this is great now, but by the time that date comes, I know that I won't want to do it. I'm like, oh, it was a good in the moment suggestion, but when it comes to having like, should we do that now? Like, oh, do you know what? No, can't be asked.
I don't think that's ever happened with me and you. No,
but I do have the fear. We had this discussion about, oh, she's going to cancel.
Yes, but you always think, so everyone, Mark always thinks that I'm going to cancel, no matter what it is.
Because...
And every time I organise with Mark anything, I never cancel. I don't think I've ever cancelled.
Would you... No, but tell you what it is, right? When I say, how you doing, before, and you have these shed load of problems.
But
that
you're my
could
friend.
protect-
Why
No, but-
can't
but
I tell you
it's
my
not
problem?
That. It's not that it's not that I have a problem with you telling your friend. But I'm like, are they telling me this because they need?
No, but you can see that every time I make an arrangement with you, I'm always coming out. So you don't need to. I'm just telling you how I feel, boo.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Cool.
But I think it's more to do like at the time that you're doing it is like the night before we're
Well,
due
did
to
you think
meet.
I was going to cancel today?
No, because we had this discussion. We talked about it. Like you said, you need to stop thinking that about me because I've never cancelled on you.
Good.
And I didn't even think about it today.
And girl, I was like 6 minutes early today. Do you know what I mean?
Five, darling. Don't push it.
Domestic oath.
Yes, that's fine. We're all good now.
I'm just saying though, like, but you in the past though, I think it's not fair to me to project onto you per se, but there's some friends in the past where I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is like 15 minutes before I'm due to leave to come and meet you, and you're not coming.
No, that's not on.
You know what I mean? And then they'll see you in the street and go, oh, babe, why do we not like do this and that? Because you're fucking unreliable. Like, I've got friends who are literally there when they say they're going to be there. So wouldn't you go with that?
Yeah.
I've got
100%.
no time for someone who's going to be wasting time anymore, babes. I'm ladies and gentlemen, I'm 42.
Oh my God.
Shut up, bruv.
I'm not 42.
No, how old are you, Alison?
I'm 30.
Yeah.
I just turned 30 last year. I know.
She's such a wee
No,
nipper.
but 30 is.
A little nipper.
But I'm not in my 20s anymore, and that's depressed me a bit.
She's
No, but it has, because I need to. When you turn 30, in my head, I feel like I need to sort my life out now.
Well,
And
you get
life
that.
isn't
You
sorted
get that
yet.
at 40, babes.
But life doesn't. Is it life begins at 30, not
That's-
life
we said
begins
that about-
at 40?
and then they
It's
said it
not-
about
that's not the
50.
saying, though, right?
Life begins at 40 is the same, I think.
Is it?
I thought it was life begins at 30. 30, flirty, and thriving.
Maybe that's just a Crystal Palace thing.
No. Shut up, girl. Remember the film 13 going on 30?
Yeah, because you're going to die soon, girl.
No.
Cigarettes and alcohol.
I'm pretty sure it's 40.
1 minute. I need to check this out. Let me ask Siri.
Life begins at...
Siri, is it life begins at 30 or life begins at 40?
Here's what I found.
Oh, 40. You're all right.
So
So yeah, life begins at 40, and apparently the best age is 46
Wow.
by the Economic Times.
Another 4 years, and I'm going to drop y'all.
So 40. How old are you, John?
39.
Right.
So, do you know what's really strange?
You said that like, I thought you were about 50.
No, not at all.
No, but John, you always expect people to think you're older.
Yeah, I've been grey since I was about 18.
Yeah, but you say
Still a fox.
people have got your age wrong, haven't they?
Oh, many times.
And then so now you expect people to get your age wrong. So
And
it's
you're more
like
mature.
you are.
feel
It's just
like
because it's very
calm,
chill. You know
very
what I mean?
softly
So
spoken. He's
yeah,
not like, ah.
he's totally different from me and you, but he can hold his own, which works.
That's why we get on now. He can put up with your shit, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I can be quite
High maintenance, diva-ish.
No,
No?
I don't think I'm a diva. I think
I don't know about that.
no, I can act like a diva, but I would never do something that was gonna take away or make anyone else feel like they were my servant or anything like that.
You were like, Alison, go to the shop now.
Did not say now.
Go to the shop
I said,
now.
do you want me to
Get
do?
me some
We were
tonic.
setting up, and you're like, do you want me to do anything? I said, no, have a seat. I said, actually, we've got no tonic.
Go, Alison.
Go
Get
on.
chance. No, I'm joking.
After I let go of your hair, we were fine. I didn't pull her hair, ladies and gentlemen. She pulled mine.
No, well, he would never pull my hair because he is the reason why I have such nice.
We did a bit of a blow job on your hair today, didn't we?
It had to be done.
Very silky smooth.
Well, I'm not really good at doing my hair. I'm not really good.
No,
at,
I trained as a
I'm not very
hairdresser,
girly.
so it was it was the right thing to do.
Like, I've even got a Dyson hairdryer at home, and I just feel like it's a bit wasted on me Because I just use it as like a standard hairdryer.
But they are good.
They
I would
are.
say, for me personally, I don't think they're like good at straightening hair.
No, it's good for like the.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's-
let's not talk about head drying our hair. Do you know what I mean? What were we talking about a minute ago? We were talking about
Being a diva.
about how friends treat you.
Right.
Yeah. How about letting people get away with shit? And do you know what? Sometimes I do stop speaking to people knowing full well I'm gonna speak to them again soon. Sometimes you do need a time out from your friends because that high energy that you love so much can also be a lot.
Yeah, you
And
can
you-
only take them in little bits and pieces.
Yeah, like especially when you're not having a good time yourself, and then you come in and someone is coming like a Tasmanian devil, and you're like, do you know what? Any other time, perfect. Right now, no.
And for me also, I feel like with selfishness when it comes to friendships.
Yeah.
Like people that only care about themselves, only think about them, not about any other person.
Yeah.
Or if there was something that they wanted to do and it didn't suit them, but it suited everyone else.
Yeah.
I just go with anything.
Yeah.
But some people, they've always got to have an opinion, and that just, I think that's one of the reasons why my friendships don't really last with particular people.
Okay.
So
I think your friendships, you've got some good friends. I've
I
met
do.
all your
I have
friends.
very
I
good
quite like your
friends.
friends. I think my friends who I meet, you're a good judge of character, I think. Sometimes you've made a few errors. I think we all have.
Yes.
But I think that when it comes to a group of people, you've got a good group of people. I get on with them all.
Yes, you do. They love you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh, we're besties, but when we've been out,
They
it's been
always
great.
want,
Yeah,
they've
exactly,
always
yeah.
welcoming,
And I think when you go and meet other people's friends, it's a very testing moment because you're thinking like I used to keep all of my friends separate. I would never get them all in the same room. But that was because back in the day, I think I was surrounded by a few people who were,
Didn't
but
know
they
how
were-
you felt about them.
yeah, and they were just there for being friends' sake. And they're the ones who I don't really chill with anymore because they were just there for a season
Seasonal.
and not a reason.
Yeah, well, you always get them sort. I feel like with me, it's like whenever I've moved jobs or anything to do with like university or something, I've always got that one friend, and then it never really
Yeah.
progresses. But I've always got friends that I've had since I was at school
Yeah.
that will always stick by me, and then I've just got these random ones.
Well, the place that I worked in called Crowbar, and I said it was probably one of the best working years of my life because it was just basically non-stop fun. Bar work, when you know what you're doing, it can be quite tough when it's busy, but when you know what you're doing, it's fine. And then you go for a party later. You're going to a bar with a hangover. You know what I mean?
it's
It's
a bit
like,
much.
yeah,
But that was like with us in Flatiron. We were always going out, always partying.
on
and
drunk on site as well.
then-
Sometimes.
Were
Do
you
remember
there
we do
that
the wine
New Year's
tasting?
Eve? Oh, I was basically the trainer for Flatiron for all the wine tasting.
Yeah.
It was wine tasting, beer tasting, and cocktail tasting. You did it all on one day.
Yeah.
So that's how I became friends with all the newbies, because I used to just get absolutely pissed with them. But they stopped doing it on one day because I used to get so emotional and so drunk that they were just like, right, we'll have to do one day of wines, one day of beers, and one day of cocktails, because it was just a bit too much for Alison. You could spit it out, but I just
No,
always
nobody
needed it.
spits, do they?
No,
You have to
definitely not.
swallow that shit.
Exactly.
Swallow like you mean it.
And I got paid more just to get drunk with people, so
I
it
know.
was nice.
Well, there was this one particular wine tasting where but the wine taster came and he was talking about the wines, and he said, sip it. There's no point in spitting it out. So I wasn't sipping shit. That's just free wine. I think I'm sipping that. No. So by the time, this is a restaurant that we worked at, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. By the time that we had finished the training, most of us had a shift at work that night. It was like we were in a club. Everyone was shit-faced. And I mean shit-faced. I had to go be sick.
Oh, God.
There was one of the waiters, there was a gay couple in, and one of the waiters was like, do you want to pour some of the squirty cream on my body? You can lick it off my nipples. And I saw him say it. Yeah, it was. They were like, okay,
Can you-
Steve.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Typical Steve.
Steve. But it was a squirty cream dessert. Yeah, like a so
Oh,
for
salted
dessert they
caramel.
were. They had this chocolate salted caramel mousse, and it comes out in a canister, and it's just basically cream in it.
Yeah.
And you put a little bit of salt in it. It was divine.
It was divine.
But
And you could pretend it was someone's birthday in our restaurant. If there was anyone's birthday, they got a free dessert.
Yeah.
So I'd randomly just go, "Happy birthday!" and they'd get the whole free dessert from me.
Squirt it in
that,
your
that was
mouth.
the reason. That was one of the reasons why I got fired. So
yeah,
yeah.
I know there's a few
Well,
other reasons
I
why
know,
you
but
got.
That was the start of it.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, well, we know, girl. We've all been fired. Well, I've been fired twice in my life. Once was because I was the last in and they were cutting wages.
That's what they said to you. Such an easy way of getting rid of someone.
Listen. This is how I know for a fact, because one of the managers said I ended up working with the manager's sister in another salon, and I was only like a Saturday boy. And she said one of the worst things they did in that aspect was getting rid of me because I was the only one that was training as a hairdresser. The other girls were like just doing it for the money, and I was like generally wanted to be a hairdresser. Yeah, so
more for them.
yeah, exactly, bitch.
I used to work for my mum, and I used to get fired probably on a weekly basis. She'd just be like, "Right, get out, I don't want to see." She used to make me. I used to go to university in West London in Ealing, and she used to work in Sydenham in South London.
What was the job?
She used to, remember I told you about the raffle sending out junk mail. So my mum used to run that company, right? So it was all different charities, and you had to fill in envelopes and stuff and send it out. But I used to just want to sit and on my phone, so I used to pretend that I was on the toilet for like an hour at a time, and I'd just be in there just scrolling on my phone. And then all the people that used to grass on me to my mum, they'd be like, "Oh, Alison's in the toilet again." And then my mum would be like, "Oh," and had to shout at me in front of everyone so that it
Prove
didn't
a
look
point.
like I was getting
Special
good
treatment.
Exactly. But I used to have to travel so far, and there was one day I literally got there for an hour, and I must have pissed her off. She went, "Right, out," and I was like, "I've literally travelled all this way, and now I've got to go back," and I was so annoyed. It was like an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. So yeah, that was probably one of the jobs that I
but
kept
getting fired
from.
yeah, well, but firing from your mum is just basically being grounded, isn't it?
You're going to be rehired.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But the second time I got fired was the bar job, and to be fair, it was quite right. I was taking the absolute piss, but I think when things like that happen, you do change. You're thinking, you can't do this forever.
Well, if you can get away with it for the first 3 times, then you just think that everything's all right.
Yeah, I guess so. But then you never really get away with it, though, do you? Even if you might have a few times, people are watching you if you're pushing it.
It's true.
You know what I mean? They're
When you
always
start to
like,
slack.
yeah, they're like, do you know what? Watch this one because he's taking a piss and he thinks we don't see it. We don't see it. And that was me.
Well,
At that time, I learned, I was young.
you stick out like a sore thumb as well. People know who you are. They're probably always keeping an eye on you.
Yeah, one thing I don't like is when people cancel at work and they're just all the time just so unreliable, and the more they cancel, the more work you have to do.
Yeah, and
and
you
I
get
hate
paid the same
Yeah, and then and they don't always kind of say, and everyone's like, "Do you know what? I really love this person, but I'm like, I don't love him anymore, or her, or anymore." They literally drop you in it at the drop of a hat. And they don't care about you. Why would you show that amount of love to someone who's literally throwing you under the bus at any given time?
Well, you love their personality, but you
Doesn't
don't love
matter.
their work
Listen,
ethic.
when they do stuff like that, I start to dislike their personality as well.
Yeah, because if you can do that to us, you're
Yeah,
just
it's like
letting everything
that's your personality. That's how
Yeah.
you treat people.
selfish.
Selfish.
It is.
Absolute self ish. Just put that out there.
No, but it's true.
People wind me up though. I like people, but they wind me up. Like working in service industries and stuff like that, you really do get to know people.
But you make the best and the worst friends. Like, think of how many friends that we've got that are all over the world now, that if anything was to happen, you've got somewhere to stay. Like, we've got Bianca in Australia. So if we
we've got between us like 3 friends in Australia, but I wouldn't rely on them to go.
But if you were there, they would be more than welcome. We've got Canada in Canada.
You've got Canada.
Canada would be more than willing to help you. But it's just all these people throughout life that you've got to remember, and they'll help you out. Well, you'd hope, anyway.
Well, never rely on that.
Well, I will.
You'd be pleasantly surprised. I never rely on anybody.
You rely on me.
Deep. Everybody lets me down.
No, this is what you think. Here we go, get the violin out.
No, shut up. No, it's not that I actually feel like. There are some. Listen, I appreciate there are some amazing people out there, and they really pull it out the bag when you need to be relied on. Why are you doing that? Why are you like acting though that you are the most reliable person in the world?
I am.
For what reason? What makes you? What puts you on this pedestal? Yeah.
Well, I've never let you down. I never really. What do you mean?
Girl.
Laughing. Girl, I've always been there.
And we sit.
I've always been there. Whenever you've needed a video filmed, I've always done it. Like, I've never said no.
Yeah.
I'm good sport when it comes to that. I'm always up for doing things like that with you.
True. But I think when it comes to people, like when they let you down, you think, fuck off.
Yeah, I don't need you.
Don't need you. And I do get like that. That's a really bad thing of mine, actually. When people let you down, some people are like, oh, maybe I'm like, fuck off. Don't speak to me.
Yeah, let me cool down.
Yeah, let me cool down. Exactly. Let me cool down, because if I speak to you now, you're going to get drop kicked in your throat. And I won't be afraid.
No, it's true.
Well, right, let's wrap this up, because I think we've gone as far as we can go. We haven't gone in circles. I could talk all day about friends and workplaces. I've worked in so many different places, but the show has to come to an end, unfortunately. And as much as I like to talk, y'all don't always want to listen. So what I will say, I have been Mark Massett, and
I've been Alison Monroe,
and we have been Them From Next Door. Also, not forgetting the lovely John Maltby, who is doing all of the digital stuff behind the scenes. Say bye. And yeah, tune in next time. Oh, before we stop, please hit that subscribe button. Follow us on every platform. It is my name, Mark Massett. But another burp. But it is Mark Massett. So go and follow us. That's where you'll find our podcast. Thanks for listening. This has been a good episode. Love to you all, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.